8 signs you're a super empath. The narcissist worst nightmare. This is going to be good. Let's do it. Hey friends, Tamie M, Joyce here, empowerment life coach, creator of the Freedom class and the Ascension class. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please take a second to say hello and introduce yourself in the comment section below. And if you're back, of course, welcome back. Thanks for showing up and for tuning in. Either way, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. So let's talk about 8 signs you're a super empath. But first, let's define exactly what a super empath is. In my view, among other things, a super empath is a spiritually connected, deeply intuitive, highly empathic human being who has done their work. And therefore, it could be said that they have a black belt in healing and recovery and personal empowerment. They're on a growth path, a mission, continually ascending to the next best, most empowered version of themselves while having a lasting positive impact in their own unique way. And this is in stark contrast to the destructive narcissist, as well as the untreated codependent with high narcissistic traits, both of whom remain largely unconscious of their disowned shadow self and all the ways their unresolved wounding and trauma are negatively affecting the people around them. Why? Because they consistently demonstrate in big and small ways that they simply do not have the capacity, willingness, or ability even to self-reflect in any real way, and therefore take ownership of the shitty way they show up in relationships. It's clear that they're very well defended against any real level of self-reflection that would inspire real and lasting change. The super empath, on the other hand, is none of these things. Again, in stark contrast to the destructive narcissist and untreated codependent with high narcissistic traits. Now, here are 8 signs you're a super empath, which in essence is a narcissist's worst nightmare. Number 1, you don't do denial. In the spirit of being patient, kind, loving, and tolerant, you may give people and their dysfunctional ways of thinking and behaving a lot of grace, especially if there's distance between you, and the amount of exposure is such that they rarely have a direct impact on the overall quality of your life. It's pretty easy to overlook a lot when that's the case. Now that said, even with distance, there will be a limit to how much you're willing to put up with, overlook, or tolerate. And when you reach that threshold, there will likely be no coming back. If you ever chose to revisit the relationship, it would only be because it means a lot to you. But even then, unless and until you see actual change, actual amended behavior, which in the case of a destructive narcissist isn't going to happen. Again, there will be a limit as to what and how much you're willing to put up with. And here's why. A super empath is not able to pretend that there isn't a big pink elephant in the room of the relationship dynamic, and therefore will inevitably call it out for what it is. And depending on who they're dealing with, that may not go over so well. No one despises having the light of truth shone on their shitty ways of thinking and behaving, their awful ways of showing up in the relationship, more than a destructive narcissist or an untreated codependent with high narcissistic traits. Which leads me to my next point. Sign number 2, you aren't afraid to speak your truth. Now, that said, if the relationship is of no real consequence to you, chances are good you won't waste your time, your breath, or your vital life force energy engaging in the nonsense and or explaining why you feel the way you do. You'll simply see it for what it is and give the whole ordeal a pass. However, if the nature of the relationship or the situation and circumstances merit it, a super empath will not be afraid to speak their truth clearly, if for no other reason than to champion and advocate for yourself and the inner child inside of you. We all have one. And developing the ability to speak your truth is one way we contribute to massively healing that tender and precious aspect of ourselves. Super empaths have the ability to do this for themselves, appropriately, honestly, and openly, in a way that a destructive narcissist or untreated codependent with high narcissistic traits will find very triggering and offensive even. I mean, God forbid you should ever say anything, no matter how true, that shines a light on the not so flattering ways they show up in the relationship. That's against the rules in the realm of people with a narcissistic personality pattern. They don't like that. And the super empath, well, they don't care much. They speak the truth anyway. Sign number 3, you're a super empath, is that gaslighting doesn't work on you. The destructive narcissist, or untreated codependent with narcissistic traits, can pretend all they want that they have no ever-loving idea what you're talking about, and the fact that you are even bringing it to light, whatever the it is you're attempting to address with them, is a clear indication that something is wrong with you, according to them. You've got it all wrong. You have them all wrong. You have trust issues. You're too sensitive. And, of course, when all else fails, you're crazy. And none of it matters to you whatsoever, because it is fully impossible to gaslight a super empath. You know who you are. You know what you live. You know what you've seen and heard. You know what they've done or haven't done, said or haven't said. You know you're not hallucinating. Rather, you are very, very clear. So the narcissist can delude themselves all they want. It does not matter. You know your truth and what you have lived. And no amount of lying, denying, twisting, distorting, omitting, defending, justifying, rationalizing, deflecting, or blame shifting is going to sway you. In other words, you are no fun whatsoever for an empathy-impaired emotional manipulator who doesn't have the strength, courage, or integrity to just be real. Sign number 4, your self-worth is rock solid. So solid, in fact, that the inevitable smearing that ensues as a result of the narcissist's inability to dominate, manipulate, dupe, deceive, or control you has zero effect on a super empath. Sure, it's nice when people say nice things about you, and naturally it can be hurtful when they deliberately smear you with intent to poison the minds and hearts of others towards you. At the same time, you know full well that what people say about you has very little to do with you and everything to do with them. As the old saying goes, you can tell a lot about people by what they see in you and why. The point I'm making is, none of this has any real effect on a super empath. Again, your self-worth and self-esteem are so solid that you rest peacefully in the fact that you know exactly who you are. And although you may not be a perfect person, you love and accept yourself fully, and therefore, you don't worry about what you cannot control. And you certainly can't control what a disgruntled narcissist is going to be willing to say about you, and a super empath doesn't need to try. The narcissist can run their mouth all they want. The super empath is good, solid, bulletproof, period. Now comment below and let me know if you can relate to any of these qualities. Let me know in the comments section below. Also, if you'd like to learn more about the possibility of working with me in one of my coaching programs, there's a link in the description below this video where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. And there's also a brand new free gift section in the description below this video, so be sure to avail yourself of that as well. Sign number 5, that you're a super empath and therefore the narcissist's worst nightmare. The message the narcissist tries to send so consistently and predictably doesn't land. Not on you, it doesn't. And the message they send is clear. You are not okay. And they'll attempt to send this message in subtle and not so subtle ways. The problem with this, however, is that by the time a highly empathic codependent shifts and ascends into a truly empowered super empath, they know full well that they are indeed okay. More than okay, in fact, which of course frustrates the narcissist to no end. Unlike the narcissist or untreated codependent with high narcissistic traits, the super empath has done their work. And although they know full well they are a human being very much in process, and therefore they know that they aren't perfect, they've long accepted themselves. Again, they're good. So the message the narcissistic individual works to get across, the "you are not okay" message, well, it doesn't land. It quite literally has no place to land in the field of a super empath because there is no longer any part of the super empath that questions their worth, their value, their experience of reality, who they are, what they carry, and what they're about. So the message, quite literally, hits the floor. It's also important to note that the message the narcissist sends that says you are the one who is not okay is fully a projection of the narcissist's own shadow. And the super empath knows this and therefore doesn't take any of it on. So that message can fly and it lands over there somewhere. While the super empath can see clearly that it is actually the narcissist or untreated codependent who feel deeply to their core that they are not okay, and therefore project their deeply buried lack of okayness outward and onto the nearest target, usually the person who sees them for who they are and what they're up to, and has the strength, courage, and integrity to call it out for what it is, if and when the occasion calls for it. Can you see why a super empath is easily the narcissist's worst nightmare? Sign number 6, super empaths are emotionally aware. Much to the narcissist's dismay, they have a high level of emotional intelligence and they pick up on patterns that others don't see. As such, they are astute observers and discerners of human energy, intent, attitudes, and behavior. Don't kid yourself. A super empath does not miss a thing, which leads me to my next point. Sign number 7. They are highly intuitive. Super empaths see, feel, and notice things that others often completely overlook. Their gnosis, or internal knower, is very strong. They know just because they know. They don't doubt, second guess, or question their knowing, and they often pick up on and know things others would really prefer they didn't know. Like all empaths, they feel everything much more deeply and intensely than the average human. And last but not least, sign number 8, they can be intimidating, but aren't easily intimidated. They have a very strong presence, and others, in particular insecure people, are often intimidated by them. Super empaths know themselves. They are very self-aware. They know their strengths as well as their weaknesses, and they feel good in their own skin. This kind of confidence can be unnerving for folks who don't carry the same. No matter what they've lived through and survived, which is usually more than most can fathom or imagine, super empaths don't see themselves as powerless victims. They're different. Although highly empathic and anchored in genuine love, they have a backbone and courage, and therefore aren't afraid to fight back. And this brand of strength, courage, and personal power is something less evolved humans can find unnerving, to say the least. It's also the very thing that makes them the narcissist's worst nightmare. And on that note, I'm going to call it a wrap. But before I go, you should know the Ascension class is open for enrollment. Now, this is for you if you're ready and able to invest in yourself, you're ready to shift your identity, master the law of attraction, heal your relationship with money, and put a full stop end to the limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging behaviors that are holding you back and preventing you from living your best life. If you're ready to reinvent yourself from the inside out, create your dream life by design, and finally become the you were always meant to be, then click the link in the description below this video to apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team.